A tourist operator believes plans to flush loo-less campervans will sink his business and rob New Zealand of valuable visitors. The new Tourism Minister Stuart Nash has revealed he wants to ban campervans that are not self-contained, meaning they don't have toilet facilities on board. And Mr Nash wants to focus firmly on attracting rich tourists. Spaceships has a fleet of 600 campervans nationwide. None of them have toilets on board. The boss, James Rolleston, believes the ban would ruin his business and shows people don't know enough about the kind of tourists that hire vans like his.
All our fleet's non-self-contained. We have 15 years of operating that business and have put a huge amount of focus into education around how to camp, where to camp, how to look after the environment. We have told our customers they cannot freedom camp from day one. It's 15 years ago. So, yeah, it's a real kick in the guts to a business like Spaceships.
It would basically put you out of business, wouldn't it, James, if your entire fleet doesn't have loos?
We've worked developing strategic partnerships in Europe with premium agents who love our product. They sell it as a car with benefit to their clients so they can pull over for a picnic. They can have a siesta after a long day on the road. Then they pull into accommodation and often spend $200 to $300 a night.
So do you think the Minister has got the wrong idea about your customers when he suggests that freedom campers are basically pooping in our waterways all over the place?
I think it's pretty, it's really cubby-holding a business like ours when it's actually a really complex issue. If you're travelling with your family to Queenstown for a holiday from Christchurch, for example, and you need to go to the toilet and there isn't one, what do you do? If you're in a rental car, what do you do? If you're in your own camper van, what do you do? Some people actually opt to not use the toilet in a motorhome. So what do? I think just cubby-holding a business like Spaceships Rentals is a bit rough.
So does the kind of tourist that hires the vehicles that you've got on offer, do they have any value? Because it seems like the Minister wants us to aim high, wealthy tourists.
Sure, yeah. Well, back to that comment I made earlier around our partnerships in Europe. Some of these holiday bookings are $30,000 plus bookings. They fly first class. They're sophisticated Europeans, and they would prefer to drive a vehicle that's smaller and easier to navigate on our New Zealand roads. So, and our customers, they spend a month here, and they get around the country. They get into the small regions and communities, and they spend there, and the benefit is widespread. When
you mentioned before the whole dilemma of driving down the country and needing to stop for a toilet stop, and even if you're not in a camper van, you're just in a car. How easy do you reckon this kind of ban would be to police, given you're suggesting it's not just freedom campers who are pulling over for a pee on the side of the road?
Yeah, it is a tricky one. It's very hard. I mean, ultimately, I think there's been a serious lack of investment in infrastructure around the country for a long time. There was $3.8 billion in GST generated last year from tourism. $2 billion of that's from domestic tourism. It would be nice to know, what's happening with that, and surely a percentage of that should be allocated to reinvestment in infrastructure and the environment each year. So,
in basic terms, as well as other things, build some more toilets.
Yeah, and make sure they're quality toilets that aren't locked at night and they're cleaned regularly, and Kiwis or tourists want to use them. It's a real problem. A lot of them are in such a disgusting state that no one wants to use them.
Would you want to use them, James?
I would. But, some of them you go into, and I'm sure everyone's had that experience, and they are absolutely disgusting.
Do you think that your type of business has been targeted unfairly?
Well, it would appear that way, wouldn't it? Our camping app that we give to all our customers only shows serviced campsites. They use that app, they can't find any freedom camping sites. It works really well. They want to be connected to the internet. They want to charge their gadgets. They want to, use a toilet. They want to have a shower. They're actually civilised human beings.
Do you think any of your customers are guilty of the behaviour that Stuart Nash is trying to stamp out here?
Oh, look, of course there's going to be a few, and that's like anything in life. There's always a minority that let the rest down. But overall, I think they actually are quite forward-thinking in their ways around the environment, and we certainly pass on our beliefs and, how they need to behave while they're in our country. And we've done that for 15 years.
So do you specifically have a chat to them about loo stops?
We have a huge amount of content. We've been involved with the Freedom Camping Forum, which is now the Responsible Camping Forum. We actually helped pioneer a lot of the original educational material that was distributed to DOC, to the eyesight, and through the commercial operators. We've got our own app, as I said. We have the DOC care codes. We write blogs. We contribute on forums. We have a lot of dialogue with our customers when they ask us questions. And fundamentally, our team here absolutely loves the New Zealand environment and are very passionate about it, and we want to see it looked after.
But specifically, because this is the whole issue here, do you specifically say to them, please do not pull over and go to the toilet on the side of the road or anywhere other than an actual toilet?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, they're human beings. They want to go to the loo where they can and where there's good facilities.
So what would your message be to the new Tourism Minister, Stuart Nash?
Just a case of just probably settling down a little bit. And freedom camping is a very complex issue. There's a lot of Kiwis who are homeless and they have to freedom camp. Surveys we've been involved with 2 years ago, and they showed that 83% of people freedom camping at that time were in a privately owned vehicle. And sort of having a go at an operator like Spaceships, I don't think is the right thing to do, really. And our customers are generally very well behaved.
And that was James Rolleston there.